Hey, I'm Melissa from Welcome to the Woods. I'm in the middle of a bathroom remodel right now, and I'm going to show you in this video how to replace your vanity top. Now, my vanity top here is porcelain, and so it had a couple little airline cracks, and it had a couple stains on it that I couldn't remove no matter what I tried. So I'm going to show you how to just replace this. I'm going to be replacing this vanity with one from solidsurface.com. Solidsurface.com is sponsoring this video, and they have made-to-order vanity tops made from Korean counters, and they are beautiful. Plus, they're repairable, so I can't wait to get my new counter in here. The way it works is you just go to solidsurface.com and you can actually do a counter made to order. It's totally customizable, and then you install it yourself. Installation is so easy. It's totally doable for the average homeowner. I'm going to show you exactly how in this video.
So the first thing I did was go onto solidsurface.com and go to their custom vanity tops. Here the interface will prompt me to fill out all the information they need to know to fabricate my counter for me. So you can customize the color, you can put in the size, exactly what sink you want. They pre-drill the faucet holes for you, everything, and it shows you the price along the way. Then after a few weeks, it gets shipped to my front door via freight, and it came in this big crate. So now I have this crate sitting in my living room, and what we're going to do is unbox this. It's very easy. It just has some Phillips screws. I used a drill to remove the screws, but you could remove them with just a normal screwdriver. There was a couple on the side as well holding this 2x4 across the crate that stabilized the bottom of the sink. Now here you'll see me lift out these wood slats that come with your vanity top. Typically these are already attached, but I asked for mine loose because I'm going to be retrofitting them into a counter space that's already there. The instructions for my countertop said that it's best to install the faucet beforehand, but after opening up the faucet, reading the instructions, and just recognizing that it wasn't going to work for me to install it in the box, I decided to forego that. I'm just going to install the faucet after the counter is in. So now obviously I have to remove the counter that's already here. And first we're going to go underneath and pull open this plumbing and get it all disconnected. So I'm going to turn off my water supply, and then I'm going to open the sink faucet just to let the air out and any residual water drain. And then I'm going to disconnect the hoses to the faucet and disconnect the drain. This is very easy. There's just these nuts that unscrew on all of them. Some of them are metal that you can use a crescent wrench, and then other ones are the big plastic nut you see on the drain there I just unscrewed. So I'm coming across with a utility knife and cutting the caulk around the edge of the counter. At this point, I thought that the counter would be free to lift up, but that wasn't the case. Unfortunately, it was stuck because there were silicone beads of caulk underneath the counter as well, holding it into place, which I didn't realize at the time, but I ended up deciding to come in with a rubber mallet and actually just bust it apart. Since this counter had other issues, like I mentioned before, I figured it wasn't really reusable anyway, so I might as well just break it into pieces to get it out. Now, obviously, I'm trying to keep the tile job both on the backsplash and on the two sides, so I really had to be careful doing this. But I'm not going to lie, it was quite fun to bust this into pieces and carefully pull it out of place. Now the old cabinet was gone, we're ready to prep our cabinet for our new vanity countertop. Now I had to scrape up the silicone beads of caulk that were holding the old counter down, like I said. I just used a hammer and then a small metal scraper for this. Now I'm going to dry fit my new vanity countertop in place. Because I have 3 walls around the sides, I want to make sure everything fits perfectly before doing the actual install. These wood slats that came with the vanity oftentimes are attached on the bottom. And like I said, mine came loose per my specifications. I did this because I want to try and make the vanity fit with the existing cutout tile pieces on both sides. So I knew I had to adjust the height a little bit. The purpose of these wood slats, they're only 1/2 inch thick plywood, but the purpose of them is to basically raise up the counter and support it so that it is the right height off of your cabinetry. The counter itself is only 1/2 inch thick, and you can't have like a solid piece underneath because the counter needs to dissipate heat. Now here's the part of the project that you're going to need an extra set of hands. My husband came in and helped me shift the new countertop into place for its dry fit, just to make sure everything was measured and fitting correctly. It did, thankfully. We got it in between the two walls that were fully tiled by tilting it in an angle like this. So that was great. And to my relief, the measurements worked out perfectly. I actually had a custom size of 48¼ inches, but right up to the tile job that I was hoping to keep. I was thrilled. However, upon checking level, I recognized that it was not. It was off by probably 1/4 inch. So my cabinet, since it's built in, you can't access the bottom. You can see here it doesn't have any legs or anything. You can't shim up the bottom to make the cabinet level. So I had to shim up the top, and I added these strips of wood, getting progressively taller. That corner is 1/4 inch, and then they go down to like 1/16 inch thick. This one's really thin, and then they get subsequently higher to level the cabinet. With these shims, the top of the cabinet was ready for a level countertop install, so I shot some little nails down to hold them in place. You wouldn't have to use a nailer, you can use just a hammer and nails to do something similar. Now I'm going to use this 100% silicone kitchen and bath, and this is going to be the product that actually holds the counter down. So just like the counter I removed, I'm putting some globs of this stuff in each corner, and when we actually lay the new countertop down, we're going to be very careful not to smear this all around. When this dries overnight, it will effectively hold the countertop down. I use this same product to attach the wood slats to the bottom of my solid surface countertop. Now with those supports lined up to where the cabinet is, this countertop is all ready to install. So again, I grabbed my husband to help, and we lifted the new counter into place. This was very simple the second time. We really knew what we were doing. I checked level front and back. It looked excellent, and so now the countertop is ready for the caulking. I used tub and tile. This time it is colored white, and it's like an acrylic. And this stuff, it was really thick and globby. It was hard for me to just run my finger over to get it smooth. So I want to show you a little trick. Some caulk needs this. Some you can just get smooth with hot water. But this one I used wipes, baby wipes, to get it to all smooth out. And if you don't know, I recently had a baby, so I have a lot of these wipes sitting around. And look at just how easy this is. You just wipe the caulking that's excess off. It smooths so nice and clean. The last step of your vanity top install is to put in the faucet, of course. So we're going to do a little bit of plumbing, but I promise this is not hard. Let's do it together. So first we're going to put the drain in place and just follow the instructions that come with the faucet. I'm removing these couple pieces that are going to tighten the drain down to the bottom of the sink. And I'm going to be doing the same for all the pieces of my new faucet. I got this faucet off Amazon. You can find a link in the description to it if you want. It's pretty inexpensive, but the coolest thing is that because this vanity is custom made to order, I was able to pick out one with 3 8-inch widespread holes, which I've always wanted. I've always wanted one of these faucets that came in 3 different pieces instead of like one single, and now I can have it. So yay. Then, of course, I just covered all the threads of all my plumbing pieces with plumber's tape just to make sure that the install went smooth and there was no leaks. And then I got underneath the cabinet, crawled under there in that tight space, and got to work. Reconnecting the hoses to the water and everything was pretty straightforward, but I did run into an issue with the drain I think might be common for anybody installing a new vanity. You can see the arm of my P-trap swung in a different radius than what I needed to match up with my new drain pipe. So all you have to do is remove where the P-trap comes into the sewer drain right here, this nut. I unscrewed that, and the length of this PVC pipe is extra long, so I can just cut it shorter. I cut it on my miter saw, but you can use pretty much anything, a multi-tool. You can use so many different cutting tools if you don't have a lot of power tools at home to cut PVC pipe. It's quite easy. So the length here got shorter, cut off maybe like 2 inches, and then I was able to put it back in the sewer pipe and now the radius swung where it could meet up with the drain pipe. The drain pipe that came down out of the sink didn't quite reach to the P-trap, so I did have to go buy one plumbing item, which was this extending piece. It's like called a tail piece, and this extended my drain from the sink down into my P-trap. This was not difficult at all, and if you have any questions about this part, there are a plethora of YouTube videos that share plumbing tips for you. Now with everything connected, I turned the water supply back on. At this point, you're definitely going to check for leaks right away. You might find an issue and you just have to tighten things up a little more. But if everything looks good, then what you want to do is turn the water on the faucet and fill up your sink all the way. I want to show here too that it has this awesome overflow in the sink that I picked, which my old vanity top did not have. So I love that the integrated sink here has that overflow feature. But when the sink is fully full of water, you just unplug the drain and check for leaks at that point, because with all that water coming through your drain system, it will definitely reveal if there's any issues with the install.
There you have it. Now I have a beautiful new vanity that has no imperfections, and best of all, it's actually repairable. Because solid surface designs go all the way through the material, if anything stains it, I can just sand it out. I love that. I've loved that about my kitchen counters, and it's definitely a product I would recommend. I hope this installation video is helpful for you so that you can feel as though buying a new custom vanity from solidsurface.com isn't overwhelming and you can do it yourself. Don't forget to click on the link in the description of this video to see all of the countertops and interesting options that solidsurface.com has to offer. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome to the woods. We will see you again next week. Bye-bye.